verbindt die wereld.
Elle Mouton, engineer at Lightning Labs, South Africa.
Rock climbing is a physically and mentally demanding sport, one that often tests a climber's strength, endurance, agility, and balance along with mental control. Bouldering is a form of free climbing that is performed on small rock formations or artificial rock walls without the use of ropes and harnesses. Are the rocklands in South Africa the perfect location to practice your sport?
Yes.
An egg a day keeps the doctor away. Do you prefer the chocolate one over the regular one?
Yes.
In mid-March 2021, Jonathan Beer released The Block Size War, the battle over who controls Bitcoin's protocol rules. The book covers Bitcoin block size war, which was waged from August 2015 to November 2017. On the surface, the battle was about the amount of data allowed in each Bitcoin block. However, it exposed much deeper issues, such as who controls Bitcoin's protocol rules. Did you read it like it was a thriller from Agatha Christie?
Yes.
Do you know that your deep dive HTLZ explanation on your website is considered so valuable and complete that it's appreciated and shared to a lot of people?
No.
Stellenbosch is also known as the City of Oaks, or Eikenstad in Afrikaans. The many oaks are a remnant of the great need for oak in the early days of wine farms. The original wine growers were used to making their wine barrels from oak. Are you aware nowadays, due to the climate, the oak quickly turns out to be too spongy and therefore unsuitable for making wine barrels?
No.
I play on my classical guitar and nothing else matters.
No.
I prefer to hike in the mountains over swimming in the sea.
No.
You played on the Rustenburg High School rugby team and won the 2015 tournament. In fact, it was the 6th consecutive title that year. Are you still playing rugby?
No.
Do you miss working for Luno, South Africa's biggest Bitcoin exchange?
No.
Are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
No.
Welcome to the Connected World Weekly Podcast. I'm Edward.
And I'm Stef. We are ready to take you with us into the beautiful world of the Lightning Network.
Enjoy the ride. This is episode 22, the 22nd episode of Connected World. Well, Stef, how are you?
Good to see you, Edward, again.
I thought after 21, there can't be a Connected World, but of course.
We're a bit in the dark right now.
Yeah, that's right.
But,
yeah. The other side.
Yeah, but we're doing fine. I'm doing fine. How are you, Edward?
I'm also fine, yeah.
Yeah, you had a busy weekend,
a busy
I saw.
week. Exactly. Yeah. We had a wedding last Saturday, and
yeah, you didn't marry, but you're a photographer,
no.
right? For weddings.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think it was a long day. I think 15, 16 hours on foot. And well, I think I just sat for 50 minutes or something, and the whole day. Yeah.
I can see it in your eyes that you're still a bit tired, man.
No, I had a nice sleep last night. That's all right.
Good to hear, man.
And you?
Yeah, I had a fine weekend. I was away for the weekend with my wife and my kid and my mom, so we had a pretty nice weekend. Ate a lot, you know me.
Yeah, of course.
drink also a lot, and we had a amazing Formula One weekend. But I know you're not.
Of
you're
course,
not a big fan.
Of course.
But Max Verstappen, he won the. He actually won he qualified for the first place, and then he won the sprint race, and he won the big race on Sunday. So maximum points. So yeah, it was nice. Yeah. So hey, and this week we welcome Elle Mouton from she's
you're right.
She's from South Africa and also from Lightning Labs.
Yeah.
And
yes, so we can talk in Dutch then.
We can talk
her.
Zuid-Afrikaans. It's also it's always nice to talk Afrikaans with South African people because the languages are kind of similar, but they're also very funny to talk to. And we because she had a big secret she carried. And we didn't know what it was because we recorded the interview a couple of weeks ago. We pre-recorded it. And what it was, we found out a couple of days later, Edward, it was about tarot, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then we asked her and she said, well, of course she couldn't say anything about it. And I think also the subjects that we discussed were different. So it's okay.
Yeah, it was a very nice interview, but but okay, it's fine, of course. I mean, I love secrets.
Of course,
I keep my 24. I keep my 24 my seed phrase of 24 words. It's a big secret. I keep with it. So
yeah, that's very important. Never share them. No, and I think tarot is it could be a big thing. There was a lot of discussion about it, and that's why we thought, well, maybe it's a good moment one time in the future to talk about it more. Because some say, well, this could be the future for Lightning as a multi-asset network and to be more than only transactional with currency. But I don't know. It's something interesting. So perhaps another time with Elle or with another one, we can talk about it more. And did you hear, Stef, about that there was some funny news? Well, funny. I saw it, I read it, and I thought, well, it's good to mention it. Binance, what did they say? Actions following the EU fifth package of restrictive measures, so the sanctions against Russia. And there was a message that they said to all Russians with a balance over 10,000 euros to withdraw it within 90 days. And I was thinking, well, if I receive such an email and you have to withdraw everything, that's not a nice news, of course.
But you, I mean, I don't like Binance after all. I'm always using Bitonic. It's a Dutch company, and they only offer Bitcoin. So I use it, and they don't even offer a custodial service, so they want you to give up an address, so they send the stats right away after you purchase it. So I think I love them more, and I think
they have bits, right?
Yeah, also bits, and I think it's better to keep your keys yourself, not your keys, not your coins. So
well,
let's have a talk about the statistics of the Lightning Network, Edward, as always, and about our Rings of Fire community. And then the second part will be with Elle Mouton.
All right.
Yeah, so last week we had a little over 29.3 Bitcoin pushed into the Lightning Network, and this week we added 0.8 Bitcoin, so almost a whole Bitcoin. To it. So now it's 30.2 Bitcoin with around 1,039 members participating in over 131 rings, Edward.
So that's an amazing number again. Yeah, more than 30 Bitcoin. Well, and we're at now at block height 733,500 almost. And if we look at the Lightning Network as a whole, we see something interesting. There are 17,303 nodes. It's almost 3,000 nodes less than last week, but we added as the whole network more than 46 Bitcoin. So 3,681 Bitcoin in the Lightning Network as network capacity.
Nice.
And the value of today is...
Yes, 1 million Satoshis is getting you $387, 360 euros, and 2,535 Chinese yuan.
All right, great.
Verbind de wereld.
And for the news of today. Well, I'm going to start with a news item that I think, well, it was filed by the Minister of Finance and Budget of Central African Republic, a law to make that country a legal tender, with Bitcoin a legal tender in that country. And I don't know. I think they say the national ministry adopted it unanimously, but also other news items say that it just got filed. So we don't know it for sure, but it could be interesting if it's true, or someday will be true. I think the most interesting part is that in 2017, it was acclaimed to be the poorest country in the world with an average yearly income of $656. So that's awful, of course. And it could be interesting to know what would such a news item do with economic recovery or peace building in the country, because there are a lot of problems there. So that was Central African Republic.
It isn't verified, and then, right? So
no, it isn't verified. No,
maybe we know it next week.
Exactly, and of course, if it's bullish news, we want to tell it, but we don't know it for sure. So that's good to know. And then Herman Vivier, our guest from episode 12, it's funny because he's also from South Africa, from Bitcoin Ekazi, and he wrote a guest article in Bitcoin Magazine with the title "Bitcoin and a World of Rules Without Rules." And it's an interesting article about how Bitcoin offers an opportunity for society to move towards a system of clear and easy to understand rules. And he appeals to being able to go off known conventions and to consider Bitcoin as a solution for the world, not to fix everything, of course, but as a system with fair and transparent structures. And he states, and I quote, "Clearly, rulers end up ruling according to their own best interest and not in the interest of keeping the game fair. We have to move towards a system of rules instead of rulers." And I think that's a nice statement. Yeah. Read the article. He's a nice guy with a warm heart, and I think it's a nice article.
And his project is nicely growing, right? I follow him very closely, and I see. Well, every couple of days they onboard a new shop. He has all kinds of people helping him with that. So good to see that he is really doing some good in the townships there.
Yeah, he released also some movie clips of the onboarding, and it's just heart-warming if you see it.
Nice job, Herman.
It's really nice.
Thumbs up.
Yeah. Go for it. And then Bitcoin for local business. Yeah, there's an initiative to help merchants who are interested in accepting Bitcoin. You can choose the PDF per country and per wallet, and then you can download it like a foldable pamphlet, and you can use it to onboard merchants. And I think it's a really great initiative for more adoption. So check it out. We put it in the show notes.
Or just reach out to Herman because he's doing a great job.
Of course. So. yeah, exactly. How do you do it?
How do you do it?
Please tell us. And then, this is a technical item. I find it interesting. Of course, we know quantum computing could be in some danger for Bitcoin. Eric Arenosti started a thread on the Bitcoin Dev mailing list about Bitcoin secure in case a fast quantum computer is developed. And he suggests a solution that would require a soft fork consensus change that will likely reduce the maximum number of useful transactions per block and more validation work for nodes. It's an interesting read. Check it out. There are a lot of links also there. And if you're interested, then you can check it out. And then the updates for today. I have a list. I will go in it very fast, I think. Ringtools, Jury released an update, added multi-language support to Ringtools Web, for example. If you want to know more, check the link. And then lnodeinsight.com. Check episode 11 with Small World as our guest if you want to know more about that website. If you upgrade your account, then he added some extras. As a matter of fact, it's access to weekly reports of automated channel simulations. So you're sleeping and then you get a report that says this is the pair for you to optimize your node. And also unlimited access to historical nodes, statistics, and the rebalance payments simulator. So that's nice. Cool. And then Cash App uses the Lightning Development Kit features and added Lightning Receive support. BitPay also announced support for merchants to accept Lightning payments. And you used it, of course, last week. And then LND, last week they released Release Candidate 1. Now the beta is released with several bug fixes again. And there are a lot of code fixes in code changes in LND, implementing sending support for payment metadata, for example. Check them in the show notes. There are 4 of them. And Core Lightning at last. Last week was Release Candidate 1, and now it's Release Candidate 3. And Rusty stated on that on GitHub, this time for sure. And I was thinking, what does he mean with it? This time for sure, like there was some problem in Release Candidate 1 or something. Yeah, exactly. So that's funny.
Conecte o mundo.
Okay, Edward, let's have a look at our rings forecast, because I saw just before the recording that we have only one spot left at the 5 million Satoshis 18th ring. And I want to make some extra noise for the for 2 rings with a very high liquidity. Again, a little disclaimer, these rings with high liquidity are only for the more serious node operators who know what they're doing. The 20 million Satoshis first ring and the 50 million Satoshis, so half a Bitcoin ring, the second one, have both 3 spots left. So I think if you are a more serious node operator and you want to expand your Lightning channels, you have some liquidity available. These are really nice opportunities to get some good connections. Please join our Telegram group, t.me/Satoshi Radio ROF, if you want to join one of these and the 5 million Satoshis 80th ring. Already mentioned, 1 spot left. And we have, of course, all kinds of rings available with also a smaller liquidity starting from 500K and upwards. So plenty of spots on the other rings, but I wanted to make some extra noise for the guys who are patiently waiting for the balls of steel rings, as I like to call them. And then, Edward, are you interested in the half Bitcoin ring, Edward, or don't you have balls of steel?
Too much. No. Well, if it's all redundant and if something goes wrong, then I tested it to fix it. Then okay, but no, it's just too much.
Keep it for the biscuits, okay?
Exactly.
Hey,
but I think it's important. So
man, of course. And well, if people want to organize or want us to organize these rings, we do it, of course. We have all kinds of disclaimers coming with them, so don't be afraid that we will put some newbies in it. But we will organize it if you want. And we balanced 4 rings last week, starting with the 3 million Satoshis 14th ring. While most people were still trying to find the last Easter eggs, experienced ringleader Turbo Bus was looking for a working route to balance the ring. Once again, he showed what turbo means and balanced the ring quickly. So Turbo Bus was on a roll again. Thanks, Basi.
Nice.
Again, the 500K 32nd ring. Our ringleader from the Netherlands, Nathan, did a great job as a first-timer, although he experienced some issues with his node. Just before he wanted to balance the ring, he managed to solve the issue with a little help of Jury and then got back to get the job done. So well done, Nathan, and see you in a future ring. And then something special, Edward, because I think this might be actually the first time that we had, we very often balance more than 1 ring at one evening and also more than 1 ring at the same time. But I think this is the first time that we actually had a ringleader who balanced 2 rings almost at the same time. So we had a 3 million Satoshis 15th ring and the 5 million Satoshis 17th ring. another one, make that too, because we have a crazy record set by French Tony from France, of course, who balanced 2 rings within 30 minutes. And the best of all, he was a first timer. What an experience this was. I think he was sweating all over because he was a little
30
panicked.
minutes.
Yeah, but it was crazy, man. I mean, he was really...
But no gossip problems then?
No problems at all.
Everything
went smoothly. And he did an amazing job. And as I said, as a first-timer, I think... we have an applause for him, right, Edward? Come on.
Of course.
Let's give the man an applause.
Great, man.
Really,
30 minutes
nice.
and then,
So
and if you start with it, well, that's just
amazing, right? So and he said the one thing I learned from it is that if I do this again, I will not do 2 rings at the same time. I will spread it and I will
that's better.
Spread it over 2 days or something. So and we had in these rings node operators from Great Britain, the USA, Spain, Germany, Swiss, Holland, of course. Norway again, France, Greece, the first one from Greece actually, Japan, and Austria. So we had a really nice distribution again.
Nice.
And now, Edward,
Great.
it's time.
And now
it's time to give a prize away.
Exactly.
Because in the last episode we had Karsten Otto, and he gave away a prize. And this was a really nice prize, a channel with inbound balance with his top boss core node, value of 5 million Satoshis. So 5 million Satoshis inbound liquidity. So he's not giving away 5 million, but a channel with
that would be nice.
That would be extremely nice. And on top of that, it will be a channel which he will charge 0 fees on. So if you want to get a great head start with your node, he's one of the best nodes out there.
Exactly. So you're connected with a big node. I think that's also very important. And then 5 million sets. You can see what it does, and I think that gives you a lot of information. And if you combine it with metrics like LNRouter.app or something, or LN Node Insights, it could give you a head start. Yeah.
So
I saw it and I thought, this is amazing.
There were a lot of people participating in the giveaway. Actually,
exactly.
We had 45. But also some pretty well-known guys, right? We saw Alex Bosworth retweeting the tweet because he also wanted to participate. And a couple of our previous guests all wanted to participate. And we didn't participate, Edward, because we're the host, right? But
no, of course, it needs to be needs to be correct, right?
Yeah, that's right. But I think if the previous guests can participate, we could also. But okay. It's fine. Can you maybe, Edward, because I see you have the nice, and I will show the people from home, the nice Bitcoin, the Bitcoin cap with a nice Bitcoin logo and a Satoshi logo and a Lightning logo.
Exactly. And I have this. Those are cards with a number on the other side. Well, these are the numbers that aren't participating because we have 45, and this is 46 to 48. And all those cards are inside. I will go to the cap. And we make some noise. Look at that.
Exciting.
This is a number. And it's number? You see it? 14.
No, 14.
14. Let's have a look.
14.
Okay, 14, guys. 14. I will put my mic right.
Ballroom.
Yeah, exactly. Blue Ballroom. Congratulations.
So, congratulations with your prize. And please reach out to us on Twitter. I think it's better to do it on Twitter, right? Because then we see your official profile and we can verify that it's actually you. So please reach out to us on Twitter. So maybe to Edward or me or Jonī Kyasshu. One of the three or all of the three combined. It doesn't matter.
It's all good.
It's all good. Please
but on Twitter.
Reach out to us, and then we will make sure that Karsten will open the channel to you. So
great.
So that was it for this little story, Edward. So let's head to the lightning notes then, mate.
All right, let's
do it.
Conecta el mundo. Make sure to secure your home network. So change default passwords and use two-factor authentication where possible. And keep your software up to date. It's also very important. Please keep in mind that the whole Lightning network is very experimental. Software like MyNode, Umbrel, Raspberry Blitz, for example, and many others, and LND also, are still in beta phase. Don't blindly run terminal commands on your node if you don't understand them yourself, and especially when prefixed with sudo. And the last one is also very important. Don't use Satoshis that you're not willing to lose. So if you're not aware of all security considerations, then read into it. Educate yourself, read articles, ask for help in Telegram groups with high reputation like ours, and listen to podcasts and learn by doing. Otherwise, don't participate.
Also, you can stay informed by following us on Twitter. You can find us at Satoshi Radio ROF. And follow our Lightning leader, Jonī Kyasshu. Join our Telegram groups, Satoshi Radio, Ring of Fire, and Connect the World. And check our website, satoshi.radio. It would be nice for you to be part of our Amboss community. You can find us there on Satoshi Radio. And like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Use Podcasting 2.0 to listen to Connect the World. And you can check SATA trading for the current value. You can find all this information, of course, also in the show notes as well.
All right, let's get on to the show.
Conectado Lumea.
Welcome, Elle. We're excited to have you in our podcast. Nice that you're here. How are you?
Welcome, Elle.
Good. Those questions were fantastic. It's great to be here, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, and a lot of them are about climbing, right? Because this is one of your passions, right?
Absolutely. I'm addicted to climbing.
Very nice.
But there's a lot to climb there, I think.
Say again, sorry?
There's a lot to climb there in South Africa. It's amazing there. I think.
We're very lucky. We've got some great indoor gyms as well. And then, as you said in the questions, Rocklands is just beautiful.
Rocklands, yeah.
And what was the biggest mountain in South Africa? It's in northeast, right? The very famous one.
Northeast. Oh, you're talking about the Drakensberg?
Yeah, the Drakensberg. That was it. Yeah. Did you ever climb that one?
I have been to the Drakensberg once, but I was really sick, so I ended up not going on the hike. But I do plan to go back.
Cool. Because it's like 3,500 meters or something.
I'm not sure.
Not sure, but it's
Tafelberg is also famous, right?
Table Mountain is very close to me. It's a view out of my flat.
And you can see it actually. Oh, nice.
Yeah, I would show you now, but it's dark outside. And it's I think it's exactly a kilometer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But and you said that you prefer swimming in the sea, right?
To hiking, yes. I swim in the sea almost every day. It's we've got a great ocean here. Yeah.
Nice.
But isn't it cold then now? Because it is the ocean.
Cold. It's very cold. I've recently joined a group though that goes every Monday and Thursday morning at 7 a.m. and you get in the cold water for 20 minutes. And it's very cold, but it makes you feel amazing. So it's great.
Yeah, they say it's very good for you, right, Stef? Jumping in cold water and then... No, really, it is.
Yeah, they say it is, but I prefer to just jump into the Mediterranean Sea or something in the middle of the summer when the water is just nice and warm.
No, I'm the same, I think. Well, I'm half Spanish, so the more south is better. Yeah.
Most people will say that, but I promise you it's because they'll get out after the first minute of being cold. But if you just push past the first minute, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Perhaps going to try it one time.
Yeah.
And can you tell us a bit more about your background? Because you're working at Lightning Labs, right?
Yes.
And how did you come up there?
Good story. Good question. So I got really interested in Bitcoin and Lightning when I was at varsity, and decided I wanted to learn more about it. So I did my final year project on a Bitcoin and Lightning topic, And then after I did that, I reached out to Chain Code I asked them, listen, what do I need to do to get into your residency? Because I need to do it. And Jonas from Chain Code immediately got back to me, and he said he introduced me to Carla Cohen, who at that time had just started working at Lightning Labs, and she had just done the Chain Code residency as well. And she happens to live like 5 minutes away from me.
Cool.
So I met up with her, and she told me about like her, because she worked at LNURL as well. So she told me about her time there and her experience there, and she thought it was a great stepping stone to get to Lightning Labs, because at that point I also already knew I wanted to work at Lightning Labs. So then I applied there and worked there for about a year on their like crypto operations team. But unfortunately, I had to spend most of my time working on Ethereum. So I worked there for a year, and then I just eventually left, and I spent like 6 months with no plan, really, just aiming to learn as much about Bitcoin and Lightning as I could, and contributing to L&D and other Lightning Labs projects, and then eventually applied.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, because of on an exchange, of course, it's totally different. But it's nice that you both knew each other and were very near to actually know about how what you wanted to do. So it's nice. And
we are complete fanatics, right? About everything about the Lightning Network. Edward and I are, but you are also, obviously. But what does it mean for you to work for Bitcoin, and specifically for the Lightning community then?
Oh, wow. Okay, well, first of all, Bitcoin, I really do believe that Bitcoin is the currency of the future, and that everybody will be using it in some way or another at some point. So just to get to work on that in the early days is amazing. But then Lightning gives Bitcoin wheels, right? And I feel like many people's first interaction with Bitcoin will be through Lightning, through small things like, I can pay for this article online if I just pay with this Lightning thing. What's that, right? So to get on to work on that is amazing. And Lightning is also very like fast developing, and I love that. So
Yeah, we always have a news part at the beginning of our show, and I told Edward last week that we have like so many news items every week. Yeah. So it's crazy the amount of development that happens every week. Yeah. So
there's so much to discover, and it's so young still, and there's so many. The development is it's crazy.
Exactly, we can never get bored in this industry.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
Nice. Hey, and we have all kinds of questions for you, of course, but it has to be in the part we call the 21 minutes. So, we really want to enter that part. Edward, if you are ready, and Elle, of course, also, if you guys are ready, we'd love to enter that part now.
Yeah, let's get going.
All right, let's go.
Spojte svět dohromady.
You're living in South Africa at this moment, and what can Bitcoin mean or do for the South African economy or society there?
Good question. So I think this kind of goes for many third world countries, but I think it can give a lot of people the opportunity to learn about how to become financially self-sovereign in the first place, right? And to hold their value, especially in countries such as here where the inflation is rising. So that's one thing. The other thing is that many people come work in South Africa from surrounding countries, and they work here to send money back to their families, right? So
remittances.
Yeah, exactly. So that can be very tricky and dangerous and expensive. And so like Bitcoin makes that cheap and easy. But I've heard stories about people actually taking cash back, right? And will carry like 20,000 Rand with them in fiat currency. And that's just, so Bitcoin fixes that definitely. Yeah. And other than that, also like a lot of people don't even have bank accounts. So the opportunity to be able to be in control of your keys and see your value like that is huge.
Yeah, maybe also for the first time savings, right? That's a new thing for a lot of people. Yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
And do you know any merchants or public places around your neighborhood where you can pay using Lightning Network?
So not around my neighborhood, but I do know of Jonī Kyasshu in Mossel Bay who have recently been doing a lot of cool stuff there, and I'm very much meaning to go and visit there soon to go try it out. About 2 weeks ago, someone, another Lightning fanatic, organized for one of the popular restaurants in Cape Town to accept Lightning for one lunchtime period. So me and Carla both went to that actually.
Nice.
So that was really cool. And I know of some other things happening that are in the works. So definitely watch the space. But yeah.
And in episode 12, we talked with Herman Vivier. You just told us about Mossel Bay. Well, he's from Bitcoin Kyasshu, and he is building their Bitcoin economy, like Bitcoin Beach in El Salvador. And he also helps impoverished youths to build character while surfing. It's a very nice project, and you didn't go there, but what do you think about, you were also saying about Africa, and he told us that there's a lot of other exchanges and other coins, and I think education. What do you think is the most important to educate young people or African people for to get to more adoption of Lightning?
I think first and foremost, understanding what money is, and I think a lot of people just grow up not ever learning what a store of value is, what money is. What a lot of people will just say to me, government money works, and they don't understand that compound interest is hard to understand. So inflation is hard to see for people. And just getting people to learn about that from a young age is definitely very important.
Yeah.
But do you think that Africa will be then in a better position to accept Bitcoin and Lightning faster than elsewhere because of the circumstances?
Perhaps, yes. Perhaps in a country like this, people will be almost forced to, because in third world countries in general, or any country where inflation is rising drastically, people will kind of just be forced to learn about this stuff faster. So absolutely.
Yeah. And what do you think are the greatest issues that we can encounter in Africa for to get to those the adoption we really want to see, right? Perhaps, yeah.
So first of all, I think a lot of people will just say, okay, if you want to be a Bitcoin, you want to use Bitcoin and you want to be self-sovereign, you need your own Bitcoin node and easy peasy. But that's just out of the question for a lot of people here. I would say it's just having a server is just it's a tall order, and then a lot of people also don't have smartphones. So just even having a wallet on your phone or a Lightning wallet is just, you can't. And then just things like infrastructure and electricity issues, and also just theft, right? Like, I don't know, people say, okay, you should have 2 of 3 multi-sig and you should store them in different locations and all these things, and that's just unrealistic for a lot of people. So there's a lot we need to still fix.
Yeah.
That sounds reasonable. Yeah. And your official function at Lightning Labs is engineer. What is exactly your role in Lightning Labs?
So when I first joined Lightning Labs, up until now, actually, the main thing I've been working on is Lightning Node Connect, which is have you guys heard of it?
No.
Lightning Node Connect? Okay,
no.
It's really cool. You should check Lightning docs to learn more about it. But it's basically a communication tech that can help you connect to your Lightning node from wherever in the world, even if your Lightning node is behind NAT. So yeah, it brings a lot of power. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh yeah. I see the GitHub. We're gonna put it in the show notes. That's interesting. And that's another question. But do you think it's more difficult to understand Lightning and Bitcoin for older people, or is that just a myth?
I think that's a myth. I haven't found that. Like, how old are you talking?
Well, we have also community members of 65 or older, so we know it isn't. But perhaps you, as a very young person working middle in this field, perhaps you encounter it. I don't know.
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't found there's a difference in understanding really with like old versus younger people. It's more technical versus non-technical people. And so I think that's a big hurdle we need to cross still in like Bitcoin and Lightning. Asking people to be self-sovereign and then needing to understand all the complicated tech is a big issue. So I think that's the barrier. Not so
before a grandma and grandpa are using it, then no, of course.
They might need help from me.
Exactly. I bet you're doing that very good. In the beginning of March, you participated at the 2-day Technical Advancing Bitcoin conference in London. And you gave there a talk about static invoices in Lightning. And you dove deep comparing LNURL, Lightning offers, Bolt 12, and AMP, atomic multipath payments. And why is static billing development so important within the Lightning network? And more importantly, how is it related to growing adoption?
Great question. So kind of related to the previous questions as well. It's all about usability for people who don't need to understand what's happening underneath. People want the experience of paying to like a static thing, right? We're used to paying to a static bank account number. You give me your bank account number. I pay that today, tomorrow, next month, next year. It's a static thing, right? So now if we want people to use Lightning, we don't want them to need to understand that, okay, if you want to pay someone, you have to tell them, they have to give you a different thing every time. Please don't use it. Please don't use it twice. So it's all about usability, I would say.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And what is the main problem of invoicing with Bolt 11 then? Is that it's not static enough or?
Exactly. So Bolt 11 is required for the receiver of a payment to send the sender of a payment the payment hash that you're going to be paying to, right? And that has to be very importantly has to be different for every payment, right? So that's the issue. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're kind of talking about building a universal protocol. That's right? That we build something that other developers can build upon, and then that's more important. And you talked about the pros and cons of LNURL and Lightning offers and AMP. And what are the big cons of the first two? So LNURL and AMP.
Okay, so for LNURL, the big con that people will mention is that you have to run a web server, right? So there's a web server. So the static QR code that LNURL uses is just the static code is just a URL that you hit, right? And the server then communicates with your Lightning node, gets a new invoice every time and sends it back. So that's how it does that. But then you need this server. So you need like a TLS certificate, domain name, all these things. Yeah. Obviously you can use Tor, but you always still need this web server. So that's the one issue with LNURL that people will mention. Obviously that's not an issue for like merchants, right? They're going to have a server anyways. Exactly. It's more like, okay, if I have my Lightning on my phone, how am I going to do that, right? Yeah. And then the other thing that people will mention if you're not using Tor is that it's a little bit of a privacy leak. So before, if I just send you a normal payment, if I just scan the Bolt 11 your Bolt 11 invoice, for example, and I send the payment, you have no idea where I am in the network. So I have all my privacy. But if with LNURL, I'm now first making a GET request to the server to get to the invoice, right? So I can leaking my IP address there. Yeah, and then for you asked for LNURL and AMP, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So the big issue with AMP is that there's no proof of payment. So yeah.
That is my next question. Why is there no proof of payment using AMP?
Okay. So are you guys familiar with KeySend?
Yes.
Yeah.
So just like recap. So KeySend allows you to do spontaneous payments, right? So spontaneous payments so I don't have to like ask the receiver, hey, please give me an invoice first. I just decide I'm going to pay. So AMP is pretty much why I'm talking about KeySend is AMP is pretty much like KeySend. It uses those principles, except it allows you to use all your channels in one go, right? In an atomic way. So that's also cool because then you can show a user like one balance, not like individual balances per channel. So with KeySend, you don't have to tell the receiver you're going to do anything. So in a normal payment, the receiver would come up with a pre-image, send you the hash of that pre-image, and then you pay. And then when the payment is when the payment gets to the receiver, they reveal the pre-image, right? And so when the sender gets back that pre-image, that by definition means that the receiver has received the payment. So that's your proof of payment, okay? In the normal case. But now with KeySend, what the sender is going to do is they will generate the pre-image themselves and wrap it in an onion such that only the receiver can decrypt it, send the payment to them. The receiver gets it, doesn't really recognize the payment, but then sees it's got this onion, decrypts it, gets the pre-image and sends it back. But this is not a valid proof of payment when the sender gets that pre-image because they're the ones who came up with the pre-image. So it means nothing. So AMP is really, at the moment, really good for like spontaneous payments and stuff. But if you want this proof of payment,
for donations or something, or And for podcasting, there's podcasting 2.0 where a listener can directly pay a creator without an intermediate party. What other possibilities do you see possible for Lightning in the future?
So the first thing that jumps to my mind is this pay per article thing I've mentioned before. It's like one of the first use cases that really grabbed me. Like, I don't know about you guys, but so many times I just want to read one article from a website, but then they come up with a paywall.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's like lose because I don't get the article and the people don't get paid, but I would have happily paid an invoice. So that's the first thing. It's like just that it gives us these microtransactions to do things like that. So that absolutely. And then you can be a bit more imaginative with other things that microtransactions can give us that we haven't had before. So one thing is, for example, like it's actually quite random that we all get paid once per month, like in these big chunks. Makes no sense.
No, that's right.
Exactly. So if we could like get streamed money, every hour or something that you're working, it actually makes way more sense. And I feel that my guess would be people would be better at saving then because they would tie their value more closely to their time then because they would understand. They would have that mental model of it took me this long to earn this much, therefore I don't spend so much.
That changes everything, right? That's huge.
And they maybe want to work harder because if you can check it, can connect it to your check in and check out, then people will work longer, I guess.
And you get paid more when working at night, right?
Also, a higher fee. You described all Lightning layers from application, invoice negotiation, invoicing, payments, messaging, and network, and then you put LNURL offers and AMP next to it to show which layers each of these proposals would affect. Can you tell about the Lightning offers proposal? Which layers of the Lightning network need to adapt for this Lightning native integration?
So there's a few layers. So first of all, I think the first layer touches is the messaging layer because it adds the onion messages itself to send the invoices and invoice requests. Then it also uses like a different payment type is the same, right? It does the normal payment, and then it does it specs out the invoice negotiation, so that doesn't happen like via Bolt 11 invoice anymore. That happens within the network in a new invoice format. I think those are the ones I can think of right now.
And when talking about the cons of to Lightning offers, you said that it couples many things into one proposal. Well, that's what we're talking about, and it brings application level detail into the network. Why do you see this as a con? Well, it's difficult to implement, I think. Well, but perhaps there is another con that's bigger.
So with that couples many things into one. Like I don't think it's such a big con. I think we're still early days that that's okay for things to be big. But the big issue is that it's just more of a barrier to get there because we need a lot of developers to agree on a lot of things. We need to implement a lot of stuff, like you said. So that's kind of the only thing. But I think if the benefits are worth it, then absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah, and then it takes longer. But well, that's not a problem then.
Exactly. And then with the second point of bringing application stuff into the protocol, all I kind of meant there was, I don't know, I like modularity, and I think it's important to have these layers be very modular. So if you want to swap one out, it's easy. It's less complex.
And you ended your talk at the Advancing Bitcoin conference with 3 questions. How important is proof of payment? What should and should not be included in the protocol? How should there be only one info solution to solve every use case? And I find that last one very interesting. Do you see it as a possible future that a user can use for themselves to choose which static invoices they want to use?
Yes, I do think that is a possible future. I think currently a lot of people are fighting about which invoice method is the best, and screw all the other methods. But I think it's not a one size fits all situation. I think, like I said before, the LNURL works amazingly for merchants, right? So let them use it. That's fantastic. And then maybe it's fine to have like a few user-specific implementations. Maybe not too many, because you don't want the issue of my wallet only supports this and your wallet only supports that.
No, exactly.
There's no problem with having a few, like 3 or 4 user-specific ones.
Yeah, it's like with Keysend also. You need to have it both and enabled, otherwise it doesn't work. So
exactly.
Elle, you made a video demo, and I saw it, about Aperture Dynamic Pricer. We will put a video in the show notes, of course. But can you tell us more about how it works? I've heard it, but it's nice if you could tell us and walk us through it.
Sure. Thanks for checking out the video.
Yeah.
I was actually walking up Table Mountain when I decided, when I get home, I'm going to make this video. So Aperture is very cool. It's a basically just a proxy that you can put in front of your web server, right? So if you want to make some of your content paid for content, then you can put Aperture in front of it, and you can charge. Let's say you've got one endpoint that's /articles or /videos. You can say to Aperture, hey, listen, charge 10 Satoshis for articles endpoint, and 20 Satoshis for the videos endpoint. And that means anything that matches /article. So article 1, article 2, article 3 is all 10, and videos all 20. Okay. And the cool thing is Aperture requires Lightning payments, right? So it uses this thing called an LSAT, which is Lightning Service Authentication Tokens. So when a request comes in and it hasn't been paid for, it doesn't have this LSAT, then Aperture sends you back an invoice. You pay it, and now you can construct this LSAT, and now you've paid for this endpoint. And the cool thing is the server doesn't have any KYC information, right? Aperture can just see it's been paid. Cool. Yeah. The issue with this, and this is something I was building. I built as like a side project. I think like 2 years ago now. Is this? I wanted to do this like this paper article kind of thing, and I couldn't really do that with Aperture because I didn't want all my articles to cost the same amount. I wanted a different price per article, and I didn't want to have to tell Aperture every time I added a new article. So all this dynamic pricer feature does, which is now in Aperture, is you can tell Aperture, hey, don't use a static price for this path. Rather query this endpoint, this dynamic pricer server, and ask it what it charges for that path. So now you can, on your server, you can add, article 1, 2, 3, 4. Aperture doesn't know any of this, but when a request comes through, it will ask the server for the price, and that's what it is.
Yeah, really cool. Yeah. So
the dynamic pricer is very interesting. Stef.
Yeah, also for content creators, I think.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
crazy. Hey, but we are talking about the Lightning Network all the time, Elle. But we didn't ask one of the most important questions to you, and that is: do you run a Lightning node yourself?
Exactly.
and if so, what implementation are you running and why?
I run L&D because I work at Lightning Labs, but I definitely plan on running all the main implementations to test interrupt myself. But yeah.
So it's not only maybe you can run multiple nodes, right? That's also something you can.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. And one last question: if you believe in a hyper Bitcoinized world, what major problems can Bitcoin Lightning solve, in your view, in the short term?
In the short term, short term, I think there's going to be a lot of inflation happening, and I think that's the thing that's going to solve is people are going to realize this is how I store my wealth. And then as a bonus, this pay-per article thing.
Nice. Cool.
Well, we're sorry that we didn't ask all the other questions that you that we wanted to ask, but we would hope if you could come back another day, another time on our show, then we would be able to ask the rest of the questions, right?
Absolutely, yes. This was really fun.
Thanks.
Conectar el mundo.
And last week, we had Carsten Otto. He's a node specialist from Germany with a routing node in the top of the boss score list. And we asked Carsten to come up with a question for you. So one question left for you. So Edward will play the audio file and then you may answer it.
Here it comes.
Yeah, so at the moment we have fees all over the place, the default fees. We have 0 fee routing, which is crazy. We have Alex Bosworth charging, I think, 2,500 ppm all over the place. And the question is, in the future, how do you think will the fees in the Lightning Network develop?
Well, great question. So I think what he said was exactly right, that if things are all over the place currently. So it's very random, and that makes it hard to have smart fees. So I think what we're going to see is the exact opposite. I think we're going to see more structured fee choosing algorithms that nodes implement. And I'm not sure what that would bring, but I think that will allow you to make more smart decisions. Because currently it's hard to make a smart decision about fees. You can't really you can't really say, hey, node, use this algorithm and you're set now, because things are quite random. So yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Nice.
And Carsten is all about fees. So this was really his question. Next time, we have a new guest. His name is Fyatjaf, and he's a real Lightning guru. And amongst a lot of other things, of course, known for building LNTXbot. And we want him to ask him a question from you. Which question can we ask him?
Cool. So my question for Fyatjaf is, how heavily would you say that the incentives of the Lightning Network rely on the LN penalty mechanism? In other words, is it a good idea for us to move to an L2-based update mechanism?
Yeah, that's a nice question,
He's
especially
the
for him.
it.
Exactly. Thanks.
Conecta el mundo.
Elle, thanks for being in our show. We're definitely going to see each other next time.
Yeah, thanks for your energy. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was really fun. Thanks, guys.
I hope a lot of guys and girls will watch the video you made, because it's interesting to see all the possibilities. And we have a lot of developers also in the community. So I think that will be inspiring.
Yeah. And other than the video, where can people follow you, Elle? Can you maybe share your Twitter or GitHub, or
if they have some questions?
Absolutely. My Twitter is Elle Mouton, one word. Obviously a one word. And there's a link there to my website where you can find links to all my other accounts. Yeah.
Yeah. And you have on your website also some blog posts that are very interesting. So that's also nice to follow. Well, thanks everyone for listening, and thanks for all members participating in the Satoshi Radio Rings of Fire. And of course, thanks to everyone helping us to connect the world together. And if you like our content, please support us in our mission. Visit our website, connecttheworld.live, where you can donate and subscribe, like and share our content on your favorite platform. We need you to complete our mission, connect the world. Keep those nodes running, sats flowing and rings burning. And see you all next week with Fyatjaf on the same Lightning channel. Do widzenia, Elle.
Salam kokule.
Tot ziens.